Larpuriya Sattva. Trust, it's what we build. Presents the Realty Debate powered by Reliance Home Finance with Manisha Natarajan.
Welcome to the Realty Debate. Our topic today are NGT or National Green Tribunal orders against developers pushing real estate sector into a chaos, especially at a time when the industry is gasping for breath. Developers have come on this platform time and again and said environmental clearances have been a huge hurdle for them, along with being a big contributor to delays, which ultimately affect the buyer. Now, though, with another massive uncertainty added to their business, with NGT slamming developers for flouting norms, really, how is the industry going to work around this? Rajiv Talwar, CEO DLF and Chairman Naredco, joins us today. Also, Om Mahuja, CEO Residential Brigade Group, Deepesh Salgia, Director Shapoorji Pallonji Real Estate, Manit Rastogi, Managing Partner Morpho Genesis, and Ritvik Datta, Environmental Lawyer. So we've got all sides covered. I think I'm going to very quickly take our audience through the NGT ruling for Bangalore Lakes, which has barred construction activity within 75 meters from the periphery of water bodies, 50 meters from the edge of primary drains, 35 meters from secondary and 25 meters from tertiary drains. The State Environment Impact Assessment Authority or SEIAA after this ruling has denied environmental clearance to 10 mega construction projects, including upmarket apartment complexes, for alleged encroachment of lakes and drains. SEIAA also issued only 42 environmental clearances for real estate projects in Bengaluru after the NGT order, and the number of applications as well have come down dramatically, with developers grappling or trying to, wrap their head around this new ruling. According to builders and consultants, developers will see project costs going up by 30%. They will have to redesign projects and also, of course, keep paying interest on that capital that they are carrying, either through bank loan or PE money. Builders will also end up paying government charges for reapproval of their project plans. An order is also expected to push up property prices. Of course, all of this will end up with property prices. CREDAI says every plan sanction goes through at least 7 to 8 stages of verification, vetting, etc., and it takes over 2 years' time, even in Bengaluru, which is your benchmark market for real estate in the country. Residential sales in the city have dropped by 30% in the past 4 quarters. Okay, oh Mahuja, do I see any stress there, or have the builders, developers stopped smiling? The numbers and the data which I've just read out doesn't look like a pretty picture. How bad has this been for you guys?
No, I think, Manisha, for the industry perspective, there's a lot of time it takes to culminate a deal, a land deal, whether it is a purchase or whether it is a JD, joint development. And when you have such a long duration of a deal being concluded, and you have the games of the rule being changed, where you basically say that this is not feasible, that's not feasible, after you conclude a deal, then you have to go back to your drawing boards. In the name of ease of doing business, what the NDA government promised, where you see the challenge today in terms of how do you do business when you basically have the games of the rule changing. No developer in Bangalore, I would say on behalf of the industry, will flout a norm what government has set. But you cannot change the rule of the game in between. Another big challenge.
Okay.
13% of GDP comes from the real estate / construction industry in India. And the GDP growth what government is projecting, you have a challenge with real estate sector is going through challenges which are unforeseen.
Fair enough. Ritvik, come in here as NGT. What was the role of NGT? They said, look, anything to protect environment, any litigation should not be stuck in High Court and Supreme Court, should be resolved really, really fast. So there were 7, acts which went under protection of NGT. So whether it was air or it was water. Now, my concern is if you look at it from the perspective of real estate, whether it was the Noida order, which actually stalled 100,000 homes and 70 developers in the region, and now it's brought literally a lot of development in Bangalore to a standstill. Why is it that, all of this is done literally in retrospect? I mean, why is it that it couldn't have been done much in advance?
See, the answer is very simple. The NGT was formed essentially with the sole purpose of ensuring that citizens' legal right to a clean environment is protected.
Okay.
It's the most important right. If you don't have clean air, you clean water. What will you do with a 3-bedroom house in a super apartment? You won't do anything. We have lost about close to 5.5 lakh people are dying every year because of air pollution. We don't have clean drinking water. And one of the contributors is the construction sector itself. It's a major contributor to the pollution. And today, whether you look at Okla, it's undisputed, without any ground, that all these constructions have happened in violation of Supreme Court order. And what the NGT was doing is actually to enforce an order of the Supreme Court that if you're located within 10 kilometers of a national park or a sanctuary, you must have an approval from the Standing Committee of the National Board for Wildlife. The builders who are located never challenged the order. The NGT said enforce the order because you go to the National Board and take your approval. In case of Bangalore, in case of it, we have analysis of last 1 year, 2015. 135 projects of the construction sector was approved by the State Environmental Impact Assessment Authority.
Yes.
Not a single project was rejected. It is a free for all. Today, a building and a construction project can come up at any place.
Okay.
What happens about groundwater resources? What happens about the carrying capacity? What happens about air pollution?
I get that.
Yes.
But I'm just saying that then why is the State Environment Authority giving permissions?
Yes, very true.
And if it has given permission, you can't now retrospectively change the laws.
Because there is a right given under our constitution for people to challenge projects which are not environmentally viable. A citizen's right under Article 21 cannot take precedence over a builder's right to make profit.
You have arguments and there is the debates are for that, right? You've made your arguments. Let me just throw the ball again at the industry, which is also grappling with first getting approvals, then the approvals changing, then again getting approvals, then the approvals changing. Yes, these are all, I mean, this is growth. And Dipesh Salia come in here, this is growth. I mean, and the challenge between what we need to do in terms of building our resources and providing, people also want their houses, people also want their bridges, and we also need to protect our environment. What is happening? What are the industry's sore points? I mean, what Ritvik has said is absolutely the honest truth and also literally what we should be following in terms of how we make our cities.
Yeah, see, I have certain issues here. My first issue is that, you know, when you talk of environmental laws, real estate, understand, is a local business. Environment norms for a slum rehab project in Bombay or for a housing bungalow scheme in Noida are totally different. So you can't have one law for entire India. So what is required, even if, you know, for environmentalists, is that to make laws specific to the city, because every city's requirement for the environment is different. So that's my first issue, that you cannot have a national law for environment. It has to be customized to the local conditions.
Rajiv Talwar, tell me what should the industry's take be?
You know, I think I've been Secretary Environment in the city of Delhi. And I don't think we can have a cut-off point. It's very well for advocates to say and give this usual spiel about how wetlands have been put to ransom, how flood plains have been given, and of course that crazy notion about the NGT and the bird sanctuary that came about. I think we don't even express the right, which every advocate should, that everyone in this country, 1.27 billion people, have a right to live. And I don't think any advocate worth his salt can deny that right to the poor or any citizen at all. This government and this country owes it to people that water should be available, electricity should be available, and no one should have that cockeyed vision that, sorry, what is the carrying capacity of a place? The carrying capacity of this country is 1.27 billion people, and they must be provided a place to live. Where is this advocate talking about the rights of wetlands and over the rights of birds, when there are people, 50% of every city in this country lives in unauthorized colonies and slums?
Let me bring in Manit. He's part of both arguments. He's an architect who actually designs projects. He's also an architect who's very conscious about the environment. Mr. Talwar, let's just get Manit's argument and we will...
No, I don't think anyone is less conscious about the environment. I'm sorry, we've all done our bit for environment, not only as builders, but as citizens of this country and as officers in this country. We've all fought our battles. Yes, there have been various forces due to which you lose.
All right, sir. Point well taken. I'm just saying that Manit is the person who can probably bring in as a bridge to both these arguments. So let me just bring him in. Manit, is Mr. Talwar's point is also well taken, that why is it that builders become the bashing ground for everything? I mean, here you have, okay, they're the ones who are extinguishing wetlands and they're building in zones that they shouldn't be getting permission, but authorities are let scot-free. There's state environment authorities which give you a go-ahead and give the builders a go-ahead, but later on they're told, sorry, but you can't build here. And this whole profit-seeking tag which the builders have to bear in all the cases, I mean, they also have an argument here, and Ritvik also has an argument here. What happens going forward?
Thank you, Manisha. I've been listening to both sides of the argument, and and there lies the very problem. I mean, why are environment and development, right, looked as two opposing points? And I will come back to this very point again. Now, if you look at it specifically, let's as a case in question right now, the burning topic, say, are these other lakes and the impositions on the lakes right now in Bangalore. Okay, let's go there. Now, what would have been the right thing to do? I have said on your show earlier that all our cities are in a state of environmental emergency. I maintain that argument. I maintain the argument that the right to breathe, the right to walk, the right to live are fundamental rights of a citizen. But having said that, what I want to know is that where was the scientific study done saying that 75 meters tak agar aap lake se construction, you keep the construction away from a lake for 75 meters, it will protect the lake. I want to understand what is the science behind that argument, okay? Because if you look at many developments, okay, now for example, if you look at Nainital, the city comes right up to the lake. The lake used to be very dirty. Today the lake is very clean. It has been cleaned. Sewage has been stopped going into the lake. On the other hand, similarly with the Dal Lake, the Dal Lake is dying. Now the question about a lake, okay, is what is its catch? You have to understand a lake is a living organism. It does not get threatened if you build next to it or away from it. What it gets threatened by is how you build next to it and what you discharge into it and how you change its catchment basin and how you actually deal with the ecology. Each lake is an independent entity in that sense because it is linked to its larger ecosystem. My second point is that why does an organization like the NGT, which I'm very pro by the way, I think we do need the NGT, and I will disagree with anyone who says we don't, but the NGT can't go to the end user or the end deliverable being the developer. They have to go after the state. They have to question the state and say, why the hell was this land given? Why was your master plan of Bangalore or master plan of Delhi or master plan of Mumbai not sent to the NGT for approval? Approve the master plan, approve the land, and then leave it to the state.